This recreation is inspired by Renny Vasquez and Nikki Posley. Both actually have a very similar style. In fact, I think they actually work together sometimes and believe they've done masterclasses together. I know they've done the makeup show before, each individually doing some kind of classes. They're very great, but I think that their work is amazing. They have a very similar style. This is more inspired by Nikki Posley's style. And again, they're very similar, so it's hard to distinguish between them. But I was looking at Nikki Posley's page specifically when I was recreating this look. But they do a very unique thing where they bring the color up into the inner part of the brow bone and then blend it down the nose. This was my chance to do it, and I think it came out awesome. I think you guys are really going to like his page, both of their pages. They have very beautiful makeup, and I think I got some of their strategies down. And I'll show you what steps I took to try to recreate their looks. Starting off with my Nivea Aftershave Balm. So Nikki Posley on the skin, he does a lot of like different texture, different color foundations all throughout the face. So I'm going to try to do that. Honestly, his is probably the most difficult for me because it's so subtle. Like all the little details that he does are so subtle. I'm going to put a little bit of my baby skin on my cheeks just so that I can be as perfect as his models. I'm going to use the Fit Me foundations. They're pretty perfect looking, and I think that it might look the best. This is the color 330 and then the color 310. I think there's one in between, I just can't remember now. And it should make my perfect color. It does look good. I haven't used the matte and poreless in a while for some reason, and I can't remember the reason because it looks so good. Here, let me mix a little bit more. Bring that down to my neck, especially on the part where I have a blemish under there, just because if I don't have it covered. I'm gonna try the cream contour. Like, this is the stuff that I just don't do on myself, but I'm gonna try. This is the color Toast. So he likes to always do the perimeters and the cheekbones of the face. And it's very interesting because his style is very similar to another makeup artist who I really love, and it just didn't make sense for me to do one or both of them because they're very similar, and that's Renny Vasquez. They have a very similar style, and they're both beautiful. Nikki Posley does a lot of women of color, which I think it's beautiful, and I think that there's definitely, you know, space for that and room for it to grow. And that's why I love watching his techniques, is because like this is something where I can totally apply to my face. I just don't. I don't know. Here, I'm gonna. And the nose contour we'll come back to because it's a big part of the eyes. So if you feel like it's gone a little too awry, take your beauty blender and just blend away. And the cool thing about his page is he does a lot of demos. Like, he does a lot of like little Instagram videos. So you pretty much get to learn with him. My L'Oreal concealer. This is in the color W4 to 5 and it's in light/medium. I'm going to blend that, and I'm also going to take it like up the nose a little bit. And then down the nose. I really like the way the skin is looking already. It looks, like, I never do this, you guys, and like it's really nice. I always use powders instead. I'm going to use the Airspun to set my under eyes. It's not like it stinks, it's just so strong, that's all. I shouldn't say it stinks because it doesn't. Woo! I spilled it. For my eye primer, I'm using my Benefit Stay Don't Stray. This is the stuff that I've just been sticking to. And I'm actually going to kind of brush my brows with this. And I'm gonna explain why, okay? I'm not a loca. But NICKY POSLEY-RENNY VASQUEZ, what they do a lot on women of color is they actually dye and bleach the eyebrow hairs. And they take it a tone lighter than the women's natural hair color. And for the most part, their natural hair color is either black or like extremely dark brown. And they dye or they bleach them to go lighter, and then they fill in what they will. And so it's a very soft, like diffused brow, and just like barely there. It's a really beautiful technique. I'm not sure if I'm really ready to bleach my brows, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of concealer and stuff like that. Take it a step further. Put a little bit of some concealer, the Studio Finish concealer on my sorry, my voice is on my spoolie, and then brush them through just to lighten them. I've done this before in a video. I can't remember now which video, but or different looks, and it works well. And we'll come back to the brows in a sec. Okay, so now we're gonna just take browns, and NICKY does a lot of browns, so I'm using my VISEART palette. So this is on the magic that he does. I'm gonna actually go between this guy and this guy, so I'm just gonna go between both of those. But for now, they connect the brow to the nose, and that's how they do their smoky eyes. So they go all up in the hairs here, and then they go down. Like this is like almost like the crease work that they use. And I'm just like, what? And I just never have done it on myself. I've done it on one of my sisters before, and it looked really pretty, and I just never committed to doing it on my own. So I'm just going to do a little bit of that crease work. I'm taking these two colors, and I'm going to be putting that on my eyelids. I might even take the lighter one too. I'm bringing that all the way in and then upwards, and then bringing it down. This look is just like a very clean, like subtle, like smoky. Oh, it's just beautiful. Like the way, like he does a lot of videos on Instagram, so you can see just like how meticulous and like small strokes and detailed. It's insane. So I'm kind of staying above the crease still. I'm keeping that like light color very crisp. But I'm not being shy about that upper brow. So if you ever feel like the color is fading of the light, just kind of go back and crisp it up. I'm taking these two browns and then just really target the edge. I'm going to bring it down here just so it kind of connects. So I'm going to take a little bit more of this guy, and then actually maybe take a smaller brush. I'm going to take a teenier brush, and then more work at the very base of those colors. And then and go with my blending brush. It's a very different shape that he does, which I love. I'm gonna do the most tiniest, babyest wing, and I'm using that with my Black Track from MAC. So I'm doing this so close to my lash line. Again, close to my lash line. Close to my lash line. They're kind of not even, but that's okay with me. So I'm going to curl my lashes, put mascara, and then I'm going to be putting on my Demi Wispy lashes. You guys have seen me use those a million times, so I'm going to skip through that and then go on to the next step. Alright, I'm back. The lashes are on. It just like accentuates like the of it, which is what he mostly does. I looked at a few pictures, and one of the things that I really liked about it, and I think that's why I like it so much, is that he has the white on the under eye. So I'm using my Rimmel. I don't own a white, and it's fine. So I'm just going to use this guy. And then very subtly, they have mascara on the bottom. The lashes aren't meant to look full and long on the bottom. They're just meant to be like kind of like a little from here. So the lash mascara, the mascara that I'm using is the Lash Stiletto from Maybelline. With my concealer, this is an NC35. I'm going to be using that for my brow definition. So I'm going to get really close here and just kind of highlight and just blend it a little bit with my finger to kind of crisp it up. And I'm going to take these two and mix them together so that I can have a really good color for my brow bone. And it needs to be bright. I'm taking the color Lingering by MAC, and I'm going to use this for my brow hairs. I'm not going to do too much work on them. He likes them he leaves them very hairy looking in a good way. So I think I'm going to warm it up just a tiny bit because I feel like it's lost some of its warmth. I'm using the Hoola bronzer, and I'm going to just kind of just soften every edge I see with it. And fill any gaps. I'm going to bring this down too. With the fluffier brush, I'm just going to set some of that powder. Not a lot, because it already has enough with the cream underneath. But I'm definitely going to bring it down my neck because my neck is not as tan. It's all up in my faces. For my blush, I'm going to be using the color Cantaloupe. I'm just going to tap it very lightly because I don't want it to look like blush. The skin always looks very just subtle. Not a ton of shimmer, but I do see shimmer on the inner corners. So I'm actually going to take this Wet n Wild shimmer kind of brick type thing. This is called, actually I don't know what the name of this is called, but it's the Mega Glow Illuminating Palette. There it goes. Lightest color, this guy right here. That's like the most shimmery, and it's a little bit like more like white gold. I'm just going to put that on the inner corner. It always has like a very flattering highlight on the tone that the girl is. So I'm going to be taking this guy. This is from Bobbi Brown. It's called Apricot, and it has a really nice peach to it. And he hits like the cheeks. Like he doesn't just do like the tops of the cheeks. He does the cheeks. I'm going to spray myself with some Fix Plus. So for the lips, I like what he does. He does some glosses every once in a while. There was one look that I liked a lot. So I'm going to take the color by Stila. This is their liquid lipstick in Dolce. And I'm not going to like line it the way you would a liquid lipstick. I'm just going to like smudge it so you can't really tell where it begins and ends. Clueless by Colourpop. And then blend it again with a finger. Just gonna add another layer of this. So I would definitely encourage you guys to follow Nikki Posley and Renny Vasquez. Both of them have very similar styles, very beautiful makeup application. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any suggestions or questions in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!